That was that was truly inspiring, and it's just so amazing. And I know that the kinds of things that they are talking about and those kinds of conversations are going on in your schools, and there is a lot of great things happening. You know, I'm a little bit older than most of the kids in this room, a lot older than most of the kids in this room. And I am so optimistic about your generation. When I see folks like that, and I talk to some of the folks that I've talked to here, it just makes me very excited about the future. And speaking about the future, our next speaker is Tshaka Armstrong, who's the co-founder of Digital Shepherds. And Tshaka is a nonprofit organization dedicated to teaching digital literacy to parents, children, and educators. Tshaka is an interesting guy. He's also a television personality here in the LA area. He's inspiring, and I think he's going to give you a great message. And part of Tshaka's job is to get you really excited about what follows, which is where you're going to be schooling us. But you'll hear more about that later. But right now, Tshaka Armstrong, where are you? There he is.
Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Good, good. So we've heard a lot about technology. We've heard a lot about the internet safety, about cyberbullying. We've heard about the internets, the interwebs, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the awesome. So what I would like to do for a period of time for this next few minutes is focus on the awesome. Can you guys do that with me for a few minutes? Can we focus on the awesome? I mean, because the internet, there's some pretty awesome things out there. Like one of my favorite things is the What Are Those videos. Has anybody seen the What Are Those videos? Yeah. Well, it's the Jurassic Park one. That's actually my favorite, where they take the sneakers and put them on the dinosaurs and they're walking around and they do it to the theme music of Jurassic Park. That's one of my favorite videos. And then you have the lip sync or the bad audio dub videos. I don't know if any of you have seen One Direction, Story of My Life, Shreds, where it's like really off-key singing to the Story of My Life video. That one actually, I was at a holiday party and we sat for like an hour watching all these bad lip sync videos. It's pretty awesome. The Weeknd, I Can't Feel My Face, they did a remix of that one. That was pretty hilarious, pretty awesome. But there's also other things like, I don't know how many of you may be into Japanese anime, into some of the anime movies. Yeah, so there are two companies. There's this one company in America, another company in Japan, and they've created mech suits. For those of you who don't know, these are like giant robot suits that people can get in and drive around and do things. So these two companies created these suits, and these videos they put up of their suits in action went viral on the internet. And next thing you know, these two companies are challenging each other to a battle. I don't know if you know how giddy this makes me that in my lifetime, I may actually see giant robots battle. Now, not like the anime cartoons where they're destroying whole cities, and that would be bad, of course, as you saw on Superman, when that would just be horrible. But I may get to see two giant robots battle. This, I can't even, I'm just gonna stop right there, because it's too much for me to handle. But not everything is as trivial as that. Some of the things that are awesome touch us a little deeper. This year in 2015, or last year in 2015 rather, there was a 3-year-old in China who had her brain, a skull transplant, using a 3D printer. A 3D printed piece of titanium was spit out of a machine that actually replaced a huge section of this child's skull. First time human history this has happened. I'd say that's pretty awesome. And then there is something, if you want to find out about any of the things that I've talked about, you can actually take out your phone, hit a button, or if you've trained it to listen to your commands, you can ask it about anything I've just told you about. Now, you may have to address it by its name, you know, hello, Cortana, hi, Siri, okay, Google. You don't even have to look up the information. You talk to your phone, and it will speak back to you the results from a Wikipedia page or some other informational page. I'd say that's pretty awesome. Would you agree? I mean, that's pretty awesome, right? You know what? Actually, I'm going to take it a step further and say wrong. What's awesome is us. What's awesome is you. That's how these things happen. Let me share something with you. One of my favorite cinematic length cartoons, All-Star Superman. Anybody seen All-Star Superman? Anybody out there like that? Okay, a couple people. I'm just the big comic geek and I'm the only one here. Okay, I'll be that. I'll deal with that. So All-Star Superman, how many of you are familiar with Superman himself? Okay, I'm thinking they've been in the movies, so hopefully you've seen it. Okay, so Superman, his rival is Lex Luthor. That is his arch nemesis. So in All-Star Superman, Lex Luthor actually defeats Superman in the beginning of the movie. Spoiler alert, sorry. And he gets him. And when he gets him, Superman, it's a foregone conclusion, Superman is actually going to die by the end of the episode. I didn't actually spoil anything because you have to see it. But it's a foregone conclusion. So because he knows he's going to go out by the end of the episode, he goes to his girlfriend, his bae, his boo, Lois Lane. Yeah, and he says to her, I created a super serum that's going to give you my powers for 24 hours. So she gets Superman's powers for 24 hours, and when she gets these powers, they go off on an adventure. And while they're on the adventure, Lex Luthor, Superman's arch nemesis, breaks into his home base, his Fortress of Solitude, and steals the serum. So now his arch nemesis has his powers, and he's so genius, he's so brilliant, that he figures out how to extend the powers longer than the 24 hours. Well, eventually, Superman does beat him. And while Lex Luthor is losing the powers, he manifests Superman's last power, which is Superman's ability to see beyond what's in front of our faces. Superman can actually see at a subatomic level, which allowed Lex Luthor to actually see how everything in the universe, how we're all connected. And so he starts crying like, oh my God, I don't want to lose the power. I see how we're all connected. And I want to solve the world's problems. And Superman says to Lex Luthor, you could have solved the world's problems a long time ago. You didn't need my superpowers. And so when we look at technology and when we look at playing our part for a safer internet, we don't need to be superheroes or supermen. We have within us the power right now to solve problems right next to us, to solve problems in our community, to solve problems on a global level. We already have that power. Like a 19-year-old TJ Everett, who didn't just look in front of his face at smartphones, he saw distracted driving. So he created something called the smart steering wheel at 19 years old. Something that attaches to your steering wheel, and when you're engaged in distracted behaviors, it actually beeps and makes sounds that let you know that you're doing something that could get you hurt. Like a 21 and 22-year-old student who said the internet is vast and nobody can find the information and we want to make it accessible to everybody. So they sought to categorize and contain the internet and started a little company out of a garage. You may have heard of it. It's called Google. So when we focus on each other, when we take our focus off technology and actually focus on human interaction and focus on touching our environment and working with the people around us, like my dad always used to tell me, do not be a product of your environment. Make your environment a product of you. And so when you move on, when we go to these next panels, when we go to the next group discussion, I'd like you to focus on that awesome. Not on technology, because technology does not drive innovation or revolution. People creating technology, people creating the internet, people creating videos. These are the things that drive innovation. These are the things that drive revolution. These are the things that will allow the internet to be a safer space. These are the things that are going to make your world a better place, is when you don't focus on the end result, focus on what comes out of people working together, when you actually just focus on your neighbor, other than just only your own needs and yourself, when you focus on the people around you. So I'd like you to consider that as we move on for the rest of the day, and as you leave this place today, just think about that for a second, that everything is so much bigger than just this phone, because guess what? When the iPhone 6S came out, 3 months later, they were already talking about the iPhone 7. Planned obsolescence. The best software that you'll ever develop, the best software you'll ever use is the one right between your ears. Focus on that, focus on each other. Thank you.